as he is one of the very first officers to join the United States Space Force, the sixth standalone service in the United States military. So before today, there were perhaps about 90 or so people that were in the Space Force. That's a handful of the top brass, including the 4-star and the Chief Master Sergeant of the Space Force. And then we got about 80-something new second lieutenants that came in just this summer with the commissioning from the Air Force Academy straight into the Space Force. And then today, through the 15th, marks the occasion of space operators, the core of those who have been carrying on the space mission for a long time, of course, in coordination with our acquisition folks, which we are pretty familiar with here. But these guys are really the backbone of the space mission. And so it's fitting for folks like Captain Wade to lead the way with the transition over to the Space Force. I can't really see, that's part of it's the beauty and the limitation of this. I don't know who's all out there. I heard Captain Wade's dad is out there. So glad to have you out there, sir. And, you should be very proud of Captain Wade. He's done amazing things. First with as a submariner in the United States Navy, coming to the Air Force, working as a space operator, and working in the GPS command and control area at the Second Space Operations Squadron, which is a key squadron in the Space Force, the Air Force Space Command, now Space Force. And now joining his third service. Not a lot of people can say they've been in 3 different services. I don't know, maybe Coast Guard after this or something. You know, you got that naval thing already ready to go. But anyways, you should be very proud of your son. I'm glad you're able to join us. For any other family or distinguished guests that are able to make it online, appreciate you guys calling in and taking time out. We're going to keep this pretty quick. The main core of the ceremony is really for Captain Wade to take his oath of office, which is a very similar oath to what those of us who have taken that on the Air Force side or the other services have taken. But that's really the main part of it. And then he'll get to have a few words here at the end, and that'll wrap it up. So we won't take up too much of your time. We actually formally did this morning. The paperwork, which is what makes this true, was done at about sometime around 8 o'clock or so this morning. So he's already halfway through his first day in the Space Force. So anyways, I think Captain Wade is a perfect fit for one of these new transfers into the Space Force. As I mentioned, that 2 stops work that he's done, his prior enlisted experience, and then also being here at SMC there are not a lot of space operators here. I think right now there are about 8 or 9 company grade officers that are 13S AFSCs. It's a space operator AFSC that are here, and a handful, maybe 4 or 5 other field grade officers up to a colonel, a full bird colonel. The field grade officers are not, as I understand it, currently approved to transfer. There's some additional red tape with approvals through Congress that need to happen. So it's really only the company grade officers on the space ops side that are able to transfer now between the 15th, this being the first day of the month. I'm thinking Captain Wade is either the first ever Space Force member at SMC or among the first. He's certainly not any more than 8th or 9th down that list. My guess is he's more towards the first 1 or 2 or 3. So I'm glad to be a part of this ceremony. It's my honor to be a part of it. And let's go ahead and do the honors and do the oath. We've got Lieutenant Empty here has a few words just to help mark the historical significance of it as well.
Since its establishment December 20th, 2019, the United States Space Force continues to stand up as a separate service to organize, train, and equip agile, lean, and forward-looking space forces to defend our nation, allies, and American interests in space. During the next several months, more than 2,000 members in space-related career fields around the globe will separate from the Air Force and transfer into the Space Force. becoming Space Force service members. Today, Captain Christopher Wade will join the handful of other service members in the United States Space Force. In addition to General Raymond and Chief Toberman, Space Force service members include 86 second lieutenants who graduated from the Air Force Academy in April and 2 general officers, Lieutenant General B. Chan Salzman and Lieutenant General Nina Armagno, who were promoted and transferred into the Space Force last month. It is military tradition that the newly inducted officer affirm their commitment to the armed services by taking the oath of office. This oath reminds us all of the significant pledge that American service men and women make to the support and defense of the Constitution of the United States. Listen carefully to the words of the oath. They speak to the significance of military service and to why it's such a privilege to serve. Lieutenant Colonel Spear will now administer the oath of office to Captain Wade.
Repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Christopher Scott Wade,
Having been appointed a captain in the United States Space Force,
having been appointed a captain in the United States Space Force,
do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution
do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution
of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Yay!
Captain Wade.
All right. So I want to thank everybody here for putting this together. Lieutenant Abel, Lieutenant Empty planned all of this and set all the logistics up in pretty much a day. So it's amazing. I really appreciate what they did here. Thanks to Captain Winston for filming here. And big thanks to Colonel Spear for coming out and swearing me into the Space Force. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm very humbled to be accepted and transferring over to the 3rd branch of service now for me. We were joking beforehand, it's going to be kind of difficult figuring out the order of precedence for my ribbons now, like what goes where. But I guess the good thing is nobody's going to call me out on it, so I can do what I want. Space Force. Dad, thanks for being here today. It means a lot to me. Thank you for raising me. I've gained a whole new appreciation for this with having the twins and just the amount of effort it takes to raise a kid coming up here. So thank you so much. Hillary's out there. Big thank you to Hillary, watching the twins right now, trying to dial in, see this. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for her. Definitely would have just gotten out after the Navy, not come to the Air Force, and then not being in the Space Force. So owe this all to her, everything. And thank you for everybody else out there who dialed in today to take part in this. It's truly an honor for me. It's a very humbling experience to be joining the Space Force. Semper Supra.
All right. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's